Buying your first home on a budget can be exciting, but it's also risky if you don't know what to look out for. I've helped hundreds of clients buy smart, and I've seen too many fall into the trap of buying a house that looks like a deal, but ends up draining their finances. In this video, I'll break down 3 types of homes that you should avoid if you're buying on a tight budget, plus what to look for instead so you don't end up with a money pit. The first home that you want to avoid is the fixer-upper that's too far gone. You see a cheap house and think, I'll just renovate it. But here's the problem. You need to look at cosmetic versus structural repairs. Painting walls is easy, new kitchen cabinets totally doable, but when a home has foundation issues, outdated electric, or major plumbing problems, the costs skyrocket. And here's a real example. I had a client who bought what they thought was a simple fixer-upper, and it turned out the home needed a full rewire, a plumbing replacement, and a new roof. So what started for them as a $30,000 renovation turned into a $100,000 nightmare. The step you can take to avoid this is always get a detailed home inspection and don't underestimate the repair costs and the timelines. Fixer-uppers can be great investments, but only if you know what you're getting into. The next type of home you want to avoid are homes in high tax districts. 2 houses, same price, but one has a much higher monthly cost. Why is that? Property taxes matter. Many buyers focus on the mortgage payment and terms, but forget that the property taxes can vary widely depending on the location. So here's an example. House A, $300,000 with $3,000 a year in taxes. House B, $300,000 home, but $8,000 a year in taxes. That's an extra $400 a month, which is enough to kill your monthly budget. So how do you avoid this trap? Well, first of all, look at county tax rates before moving forward with a home purchase. Ask your lender to estimate your total monthly cost, including taxes and homeowner's insurance. Check trends to see if tax rates have been rising in the area. Just because a house is in a great school district doesn't mean that it's worth the extra tax burden, so make sure you're not overpaying for features that you don't even need. The next house that you want to avoid are overly large homes with hidden costs. Bigger doesn't always mean better, especially when it comes to your wallet. Let's talk about the different hidden costs of larger homes. Higher utility bills. Heating, cooling, and electricity costs go up considerably. There's more maintenance costs with larger homes, more roofing, plumbing, and other repairs. You need to have more furniture in the house, and the house has to be cleaned more often and obviously a larger area. So ask yourself, do you really need 5 bedrooms, or are you just falling for the space? Will you be able to afford 5 years of upkeep down the line? I had a buyer who stretched their budget for a huge house only to realize later that the heating bill in the winter alone was $600 a month. They ended up selling the house and downsizing because it was just too much of a strain on their monthly budget. So the action step that you can take to avoid this is before buying a home, ask your lender for an estimate of total costs, not just the mortgage. So what should you look for when you're on a budget? First, look for move-in ready homes with updated systems. A house with a newer roof, HVAC, plumbing, and electrical will save you thousands over time. A home with good bones is always a smarter buy than a cheap house with hidden problems. Another one is smaller, well-maintained homes. Don't buy more house than you actually need. A smaller home means lower bills, less upkeep, and more financial freedom. Another great option is newer builds or homes with energy efficiency. Newer homes often have better insulation, energy efficient windows, and lower overall maintenance costs. So even though a slightly newer home might cost more up front, it's an investment that may save you thousands in the long run. Buying a home on a budget doesn't mean you have to settle for a money pit. If you avoid these 3 home buying traps, you're setting yourself up for success instead of financial stress.